future of mobility. And I think I have a unique perspective on that. I actually came to Microsoft from Nokia. I spent 4.5 years with Nokia, and when I came over, I was responsible for the global developer ecosystem. So all of the developer relationships with Nokia across all of its different devices, software technology worldwide, and which was no small task. Obviously, Nokia was going through a few challenges at the time. But we were also working with Microsoft for several years, and now I've been with Microsoft for just about a year, actually a year next week. So the thing about mobility, for me, and I think shared by a lot of folks out in the marketplace right now, that the future is being determined not only by developers, but also consumers. And you see it every day, the ability that people have to create, I think is unparalleled today because of all the different technologies enabling them to do that. The cloud has made an enormous difference in people's ability. The development tools, the platforms, the access, but also consumer adoption. And the fact that I think that we've moved into this era of innovation where folks are inventing all the time. But they're also changing the way that they do business. You're seeing a lot of blending of lifestyles together, work and home, work and play, and people are also needing to become more than just business people. They're needing to become marketers, they're needing to become storytellers, they're needing to use a lot of different kinds of tools that are out there. So I wanted to start off by just kind of setting the stage for the presentation and share with you a video that there are 400 million entrepreneurs on the planet. It's actually probably more than that. Starting 300 million businesses a year. And it's not just because they can't get a job somewhere else, which is the way it used to be. It's because this is what they want to do. You're having kids go to college and start jobs, right, or start companies right out of college. They're starting companies when they're in college. They're starting companies when they're in high school. And now this is becoming more of a way of life for people. And there's opportunities for them to do a lot of really exciting things to make a difference in the planet, but also to make a living out of it. And you're also seeing it with big companies. You see it with established companies. And they realize that they also need to collaborate with other folks. They need to figure out how they can move fast. That they can't build everything themselves. That they're not going to have all the best ideas internally. That they need to look to the individuals, they need to look to the customers, they need to look to small companies out there to help grow their companies, to help them kind of build the future. And a lot of times you're also starting to see, and there's more and more stories out there of small guys who build a business out of their garage, who self-fund, who are able to take on big companies, big industries, and put them out of business. One of the key things that he's been doing is building bridges and opening up our software to other platforms, other operating systems, and really focusing on the consumer. Making Office 365, as an example, available everywhere to every consumer. Making it available from the cloud. And supporting a lot of businesses that in the past were outside of Microsoft's core business. And now the view is that they're all part of the Microsoft business. If it touches a consumer, we want to be in that with that consumer. If it touches a business, we want to be there. And this story, I think, is starting to play out over the course of the last year. But kind of taking a backward view, when you look at how these different devices and the operating systems on those devices were maybe independent, if you will, and how over time the company has been working very hard to bring them together to create this universal experience. So one operating system across all of the different devices supported by all the platforms and the software that Microsoft is building. And this is very exciting. And as you guys have probably read, this summer, Windows 10 is going to be coming to the marketplace. And this is something And I think it's going to fundamentally change the way that Microsoft does business with its partners. Because you're going to have Windows 10 across Microsoft's full range of devices, the existing devices that are in the marketplace today, phones, tablets, PCs. You're going to see it on Xbox, and some of the new devices that Microsoft has launched, and some of the new markets that Microsoft is going into as well, including other things. And going back to the thing that's most critical is, how is Microsoft supporting developers? How is it supporting the individuals that are creating the future of mobility, the companies that are creating the future of mobility? So giving them a common tool set that enables them to reach hundreds of millions of consumers around the world, but is also compatible with all of the other different devices and operating systems that they need to support as well. For those of you who have seen the HoloLens announcement that was made earlier in the year, and the way it's been positioned as the next generation computing platform, which is really exciting, but also compatible with Windows 10. Fundamentally changing the way that we're able to interact with each other, both in everyday life, but also in work. Enable human beings to be able to do things that they would never be able to do before. The other thing that Microsoft is doing aggressively is transforming the business in terms of business models. We had a very kind of straightforward license-based business model before, or gross margin-based business model. Now you're starting to see a lot more innovation, rapid innovation around business models. So looking at subscription-based models and active usage-based around consumption and other types of models is becoming a way of doing business, and not relying on one model or another to grow the business. Not something that historically we would have seen. For me, this is one of the most exciting things because I have 3 young boys at home, and when Microsoft bought Minecraft, and I got to work on Minecraft a little bit, I got to be a hero in my house. But I think what's important about things like Minecraft is we're getting connected to the next generation consumer. A very different kind of consumer that's actively involved in building the software, not just playing the games. And that's being taken and adopted by schools and other work environments to enable them to create experiences that wouldn't have been possible before. When you look at opportunities in the marketplace for developers, when you look at opportunities in the marketplace for Microsoft, again, you start with the consumer. And the consumer, it's kind of interesting when you kind of take this point of view. What are people doing with their time? How are they spending their time? Not just each day or each week or each year, but over the duration of their life. And where are those key things? Because you've got to think about it from a life cycle standpoint. I want to be with that customer through their whole life. I want that lifelong customer. And where is it that you're going to play? So I thought this was interesting too from the standpoint when you look at this, they had this kind of carve out of 9 years left. So, what are you going to do with those 9 years? And what are the opportunities there? So that creates that opportunity for invention. But then you look at the other different segments and say those are opportunities to reinvent, to create and enhance the time that people are spending doing these different types of things. So what is Microsoft doing? Again, it's looking at how we can empower others, how we can empower individuals, how we can empower organizations, how we can empower companies.